Hey everybody, if you've just joined us, there is a part 1 of this Sienna review because there's so many things that we had to go over that I decided to put it into 2 parts, or else the video would just be too long. So the first part, if you haven't watched, we go over the style, all the function in here, which we'll still touch on because this thing is brand new from the ground up. Interior wise, Cynthia, what did you say? What about the interior?
Space, functionalities, family friendly.
It's huge, so much room. They really have addressed everything to do with families in this vehicle. There's even more stuff that we didn't even touch on. So coming up is the drive of this vehicle. You know what? A few years ago, we almost bought a Toyota Sienna. It was between a Sienna or a Highlander, and we ended up getting a Highlander, and one of the main reasons was because of that power liftgate on the previous generation. It didn't open when you squeezed the trigger from the back, and it just drove us nuts. So we went with a Highlander hybrid. We're quite happy with it, but we did want to get a minivan, and because they're just so practical. A lot of people think the minivan is actually dying because a lot of manufacturers are getting out of the game altogether, but that's actually not the case when it comes to Toyota. In fact, last year, believe it or not, Toyota Canada sold more Siennas than they did the Highlander.
Wow.
Yes, 800 more units than the Sienna, and that was a 10-year-old model. So wait till they see this one, So yeah, the minivan is not dead, and one of the biggest changes that they've made on this new Sienna, first of all, we talked about that it's a brand new platform, which is the TNGA platform, but they've went to a strict hybrid powertrain now. So there's only one motor option, and that is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. Yes, a 4-cylinder powering this big vehicle. Okay. But it has Toyota's hybrid drive in it, and essentially it's the same powertrain as the Highlander hybrid, the new one. And we took that on a torture test. Make sure to check that video out. We did over 1,000 kilometers up the pass of the Coquihalla, and we had no issue with that. A lot of people are concerned. Hey, I don't think the 4-cylinder is gonna cut it for a minivan, and I'm here to tell you, it's the same as a Highlander, and I was surprised. We're at highway cruising speed right now. We're doing 120 kilometers per hour. It's effortless. The RPMs are super low, and it kicks into EV very easily, even with a big vehicle like this. So let's just say let's slow down a little bit here. We are just gonna dip to 100K, and let's put our foot right into it. Let's see. Okay, it's not the most responsive vehicle, but remember, you are driving a family minivan here. But what blows you away though, that passing power at over 100K, yeah, it does take a while, but going up hills, it's effortless. It really is effortless. It only puts out 245 horsepower, which is not a lot, but we get all that torque from the electric motor. And get this though, the biggest deal is the fuel economy. Yeah, so the fuel economy on this, it's 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. That's for the front wheel drive. For the all-wheel drive, which we'll talk about in a second, is 6.7. That is basically the same territory of gas mileage as a Toyota Yaris hatchback. The tiny little subcompact, you're getting the same fuel economy with this 7 or 8 passenger vehicle. That is awesome. That is totally awesome, and without plugging it in as well. So there's no PHEV, none planned as of yet. I won't be surprised if there is one coming in a couple years. But for now, Toyota is basically saying by 2025, 40% of all of their sales will be electrified of some sort. And that means not just regular hybrids, but PHEVs, plug-ins, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, and possibly pure battery electric vehicles as well. They really have been pushing the hybrid for years and years, and it's pretty well available on every model. And here's the analogy that they say, and it does make sense. Because people go, well, why don't you just make just a pure battery electric vehicle without the gasoline engine? Then you don't have to use any fuel at all. Well, because it does take a lot of resources to make those batteries, and those batteries are not easy to make either, and they're expensive. Take this for example: one EV with a 60 kilowatt hour battery, okay? Or you can make 40 hybrids with a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery. So you're taking a lot of emissions off the road for 40 vehicles, just for the cost of one battery electric vehicle. So it does make sense. And sure, in the future, will we see a lot more EVs? I'm looking at one right now. Absolutely. But you know what? You have to have stepping stones to get there. You can't just do it overnight. And this is the perfect way to do it. The new Sienna has independent rear suspension, and we mentioned it is on the stiffer TNGA platform, so the suspension works really well. It does have a much better road feel, and it drives very light for a large vehicle. We mentioned this has the digital mirror. This is the perfect example of when to use it. The kids are watching a movie back there, and in my rearview mirror, all I see is the back of a screen. So one flick and I can see the traffic behind me perfectly.
Oh, it's clear.
And it's really, really clear too. One of the reasons why the Sienna has been very popular is because throughout the years, it was one of the only minivans that actually came with all-wheel drive. And this one also comes with all-wheel drive as an option. But guess what? I'd say if you're gonna buy a Sienna, go for the all-wheel drive, because it's only $2,000 more for any model. So if you go for the LE, XLE, SE, doesn't matter. You can get front wheel drive in any of the trims, but to go all wheel drive, it's $2,000. It's a no-brainer to me. And so how does that all wheel drive system work? Well, instead of having a drive line, it uses an electrical motor for the rear wheels, and it's all electrical. So if it senses it needs traction, say we're going on a snowy road or a slippery road, it's going to just give you traction in the back. And with proper winter tires, you can basically go anywhere. All right, we have Commander Cynthia at the helm of the Starship Sienna now. So Cynthia, what do you think so far? You've only been in it for a few minutes though.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on with this half-heated steering wheel. My hands are cold.
See, I told you, Toyota. And for those that think that, oh, come on, it's like, don't be such a wuss. Hey, you paid for a full heated steering wheel. Why not get the full one? And yes, normally you're supposed to drive with your hands 10 and 2 or 9 and 3, but guess what? When you're in the city and you're turning, you are touching those other parts of the steering wheel. And yes, please, Toyota, give us a heated steering wheel, a proper one. It's like, anyways, I'm not even going to go there anymore. Let's talk about more of the positive things. If you need to tow anything with this Sienna, 3,500 pounds, that's pretty decent. That'll get you, a decent sized little travel trailer, your bike trailer, quads, ATVs, anything like that. You'll be able to tow with this. And from a 4-cylinder, that's not bad. Safety wise, 10 airbags. Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 comes standard across the board. So you get your blind spot warning, lane departure, frontal collision warning, adaptive radar cruise control. You get all of that. Every single position has a latch system on it. So that's good for families as well. We are using all the storage up very, very well, especially underneath the bridge console. It is handy, right? We have a large bag there of goodies, got a couple jackets stuffed in there. So yeah, this middle console, even though it's 10.5 liters of storage, it's very, very deep. If that's not enough for you, you have all this under there.
Even the dashboard, it's a lot of useful space there too.
Yep, the dashboard has useful space. They have done a very good job. I really do think they have done a very good job. One thing I do want to point out a little bit, we're not going to really experience it right here because we are in stop and go traffic, but under a little bit of load when you're at lower speeds, I kind of find this 4-cylinder engine a little bit on the buzzy side. It does have a little bit of a buzz to it, but I think that's fairly common for these type of 4-cylinder engines. However, I didn't really notice it as much when we were driving the Highlander Hybrid. I don't know, maybe they have better sound isolation in the Highlander Hybrid, maybe we just didn't notice it because we were mainly doing freeway driving, highway driving. So I have noticed it a little bit more on the Sienna, and it probably is, it's a bigger vehicle than the Highlander too, so it might be working a little bit harder. But let's see what our fuel. Yeah, we're averaging about 8 liters per 100K right now, and that's combined. It's not as low as what the posted limit is, but this is also a brand new vehicle, and it really isn't even quite broken in yet. So I'd expect that whatever they say, you're going to be able to get pretty close to that. All right, we're going to put Cynthia in the hot seat. Well, she is in the hot seat right now. This is kind of stereotyping, but it's not really that inaccurate. Most of the time, minivans are driven by moms, soccer moms, let's just say. All right, so as a mother with 2 little kids, if you're in the market for a minivan, would you buy this one? And if you would, what do you like about it?
I think this minivan would definitely put a lot of smiles on the little ones, so the mom will have a lot bigger smiles. It is so easy. As soon as Brooklyn got into the car, he said, "Oh, I wish we have this car forever."
That's so cool. I wish we had this car and it was our car. Only ours.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that kids like, and it's easy for mom too, especially for the sliding doors and for the kick sensors.
The kick sensor is a huge plus. For the side doors especially. Yes. And one nice thing about it is that it's easy to activate. On some systems, you can basically be kicking all over the place, and it's not very responsive. This one is fairly accurate most of the time. I would say 95% of the time when you actually do the kick, it actually works. Mm-hmm. So super handy.
Think about if you have a newborn with a car seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's a small little things in a minivan. You have to think this is the ultimate utility vehicle / tool. So every hook that you have for grocery bags, every cubby to store things is important for a family vehicle, and this one basically has it all. Now, one thing, we talked about it in the first part 1 of the Sienna review, is they announced a platinum version when they launched this vehicle, and it's not available right now, but the platinum was supposed to have, in the middle console here, a vacuum and a refrigerator. And what happened was there's something happened with the supplier of that right now, and so they are holding off on it. Probably in the next few months, you're going to see that platinum come back, and a vacuum. That's always a welcome thing for a family vehicle, and a refrigerator. Who doesn't want a refrigerator in their vehicle? So that is coming in a little bit. Overall, there's not a lot I can fault on this Sienna whatsoever. You have the towing capability, you have the utility. I really wish they had the full heated steering wheel, but other than that, that's not a deal breaker anymore. The power tailgate opens when you squeeze it, unlike the previous generation. Some people have an issue with those second row seats not coming out. I don't have an issue with that. I've driven lots of minivans and I've never ever taken the second row seats out. But for some people, maybe they might want to use this double duty to do work, maybe as a work van. Well, maybe, that might be a concern. So you might have to look for a different van for that. But overall, I think this would be a very good choice. And if you're in the market, you're probably going to love this if you take this for a drive, especially if you bring the kids with you.
I think they did a really good job to design this for family function vehicle.
So what's it cost to get into a brand new Sienna? By the way, these prices I'm going to give you are all in Canadian dollars. If you live elsewhere, just make sure you check your local Toyota website. The LE with front-wheel drive starts at just $39,990, and as mentioned, all-wheel drive is only $2,000 more, other than when you get into the XLE. The XLE starts at $42,990, and the XLE all-wheel drive is $2,400 more. And the difference there is on the front-wheel drive, you're an 8-passenger. For the all-wheel drive, you go into the 7-passenger with the super slide seats. If you want the sporty XSE trim, the front-wheel drive starts at $45,690. Once again, $2,000 for all-wheel drive. And there also is a technology package for $5,500 you can add to that. And that gets you the ventilated seats, the JBL sound system, the rear entertainment system, bird's eye view camera, digital mirror, 1500 watt inverter, just to name a few. The limited that we have right now for the front wheel drive is $56,190, and add another $2,000, so $58,190 for the limited trim we have here. And as mentioned, the platinum trim is not available as of yet. I do want to mention that I experienced a discrepancy though in the onboard fuel computer. When I picked the vehicle up, it had 1,032 kilometers on the odometer, and the distance to empty stated 857 kilometers, which I think is quite accurate. When I went to return the vehicle, the odometer was 1,190 kilometers, which meant I drove 158 kilometers, but the distance to empty said 356 kilometers to empty, so that's 501 kilometers. This did not affect my mileage though. I went to the gas station, filled it up, didn't take very much, and it was back to normal. So that's it for our 2-part Sienna review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them right down there. And like always, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, and we will see you on the next video. Ciao.